Folks, there's a representative coming out to bring us in to chat with him, Ro Khanna. They told us to wait right here. The staffers are on their way. Thank you. All right, guys, I'm going to set up for filming on my other camera so we can
do your thing. Whatever you need from us will help.
Live and not live. And everybody give us a good, I'm not good at lives, I'm sorry, guys, but would you guys share it right now? And if anyone can put a pinned comment in that says that that a representative is coming out to meet with us to talk about the TikTok ban, we would appreciate it. Yes, are you Sarah?
Yes, and this is Congressman Khanna.
Hi, Ro.
Congressman Khanna, hello.
How are you?
Hello.
What brings you here?
Well, I'm going to set this up real quick.
Well, good to see you.
All right. Oh, video. All right, so we are out here today because we make our livelihoods on TikTok.
I know.
My entire content platform is built on engaging young people to come and participate in legislative action, to come talk to the representatives, to run for office.
Well, thank you for what you do, and I'm going to be voting no on this backroom deal to get a TikTok ban. It makes no sense to put this in a bill with aid to Ukraine and Taiwan. That's why I'll be voting no, but they've snuck this in this last minute. It violates the First Amendment, and we've got to get the word out to folks that they really want to ban TikTok within 270 days.
I absolutely agree with you. We have had more than 1 million views since midnight last night when we made our first post.
Yeah.
Across platforms everywhere, we have people that are coming from as far away as Richmond and as far north as Delaware. We have people driving from West Virginia right now to come down here.
Well, thank you for your activism. This isn't about TikTok. It's about free speech. It's about the right of young Americans and older Americans to have a platform to express their views. And you can't just shut down something for 170 million Americans. And also there are a lot of people in their 30s, 40s, 50s who are content creators, who have small businesses, who depend on this for their livelihoods. It is a decision that shows how to touch people in the Beltway really are.
I could not agree with you more. And when you think about the fact that TikTok is helping young people connect, I mean, our president is on TikTok.
I know. Well, I am. You know, I had a video, 2 million people have viewed it, where I said I'm going to come out against the TikTok ban, and the president's on it. Other politicians are on it because they want to reach voters. How hypocritical to be on the platform and then voting to ban it. And I think people are sick of that hypocrisy. And my hope is people will make their voices heard.
We are certainly trying. And do you have any advice for young people and how they can participate that couldn't come from California or they couldn't come from Washington State to get here? How can they participate? What can they do?
Well, they have a powerful voice on social media. So share your video, share the video where I'm talking about voting no, and really help millions of people raise their voice. Ultimately, in a democracy, Abraham Lincoln said public sentiment is everything. We need to hear the people's voice.
We do. And I told, when I talk to people, I tell them this is the people's house. I come down here several times a month to advocate for small businesses.
Yeah.
I'm down in offices meeting with legislators. They asked me, how can we participate? I said, I called Senator Khanna's office yesterday, and here he is. This is proof that it works.
Exactly.
Is that if we don't make our voices heard, we can't ever hear back from anyone. No one's going to know what we think or what we say or what's important to us if we don't make our voices heard. But it's also important that they feel heard. You being out here means they feel heard. It's more important that they feel heard from the people they've elected. And what's happening today does not feel like a lot of us are being heard.
Well, unfortunately not, and it wasn't a transparent process. It's not like it was there a month later and everyone gets to have a say in it. They just snuck this into a bill that has to do with foreign policy. It doesn't have to do with this issue. And I think people have to express what it'll mean for them, what it'll mean for their small business, what it'll mean for their own views in how they use this platform for political speech.
I could not agree with you more. I don't want to pretend that I speak for everybody here. I'm sure that they might have more questions than me. I would hate to dominate you. Does anyone have anything you'd like to ask?
What's the temperature of the room? What does it look like? Does it look like it's going to pass?
It looks, unfortunately, right now like it's going to pass. And I've put out a statement saying I'm going to vote no, but let's see if others will. But I think that the Congress has to hear from people across America about the issues that concern you, and free speech being one of them.
Can you explain why the Senate sent this back as originally as a veterans bill, send it back to the House. Why do they do that? What's the
Well,
strategy there?
they know that the foreign aid bill is going to pass, the aid to Ukraine, the aid to Taiwan. And so if they put this in and then send it back to the Senate will vote it yes, and because they want the aid to Ukraine, which I support. So they're trying to sneak it in into something that everyone will vote yes on, and then President Biden will sign it early next week. So what we have to say is get the TikTok ban out of that package in the Senate.
But it's too late for that.
Well, I mean, it's never the Senate. We're going to vote in the House. Probably too late in the House because that's an hour away. But the Senate probably doesn't take it up until tomorrow or Monday. So it's
That's
not
better
too
news
late
than we heard.
for that.
That's better news than we heard.
Can you help
guys.
us understand behind closed doors how our POTUS is justifying being on a platform that has become a national security threat, as stated by so many people, where he is actively on there and then has already agreed that he will sign this bill? How do those two things come together? How is that being justified behind closed doors?
Well, I that's why I'm voting no. I mean, I think if you're on the platform, you shouldn't be banning it. Look, pass laws to protect Americans' data. Pass a privacy bill so that your data
Yes.
can't be taken by any social media. Pass a law saying no foreign government can interfere in algorithms. Pass a law saying you can't transfer Americans' data to foreign nationals. But don't ban entirely an app. That's a violation, in my view, of the Fourth
sir.
Amendment.
Thank you.
What are the risks that they could use this to ban other apps that come later, or any app they want to, for that matter?
Well, that's the challenge. I mean, that's why I think when the courts, hopefully with the Supreme Court right outside, will strike it down. But
Yes.
I think we have to mobilize. I mean, right now there hasn't been enough voices heard about how important these platforms are for speaking out, for speech, for people making their livelihoods.
Is that ambiguous language still in the bill? The language about just being associated with a foreign entity? Is that language still in the TikTok?
Well, I think it is a very wide language, so it gives, unfortunately, too much power to the government to shut down speech. And, we did, if you go and, my platform is Rep Pro Kana. I did a whole video explaining how they put this in the last minute into a bill that they know is going to pass because we have to get aid to Ukraine. The problem is, why are they putting a TikTok ban in an aid with Ukraine? I mean, have people vote separately on that. The reason they're not having people vote separately is they don't think it'll pass the Senate.
Correct.
If it's a separate vote.
Wildly
Exactly.
unpopular.
So they're trying to put it, and then they've got it. Oh, it doesn't get banned until 270 days, conveniently after the election.
Right.
But people are smart, and I think they need to have their voices heard. That this is a First Amendment issue. This is an issue of a lot of people's livelihoods, and there are other members who also voted no, about 52 or so in the House. So as you speak your minds, are you all creators on
Yes.
TikTok?
You're on.
Yes.
You're on my TikTok.
Okay.
We're all
Right
we're
now.
all live right now.
Yeah, okay.
You're speaking
All
to
right.
tens of thousands of people right now.
Yeah, well, having the voices heard, sharing these videos, because TikTok, I know from my own videos of having millions of views, goes viral very quickly. And I think what we have to, a lot of people aren't aware that there's this vote happening to ban TikTok. They're not aware that the Senate is going to do it. We need to have an awareness, and then people saying that why they how it'll affect them, how it'll affect their speech.
I have a question, and I'd be politically correct to ask. But I'll ask
Are you
it.
a TikTok creator too?
No, I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Has APAC had any impact on this TikTok group?
No, I don't think they have had any anything as far as I know on TikTok. I mean, obviously they have had a view on offensive weapons and foreign aid to Israel, which I also will be opposing because I don't think we need to be giving Netanyahu more offensive weapons while there's so many women and children dying in Gaza. But that's a different issue than
Yes.
TikTok.
It seems so hard because they had a standalone bill, and that's really, I think, what everybody is so upset about
Right.
is that there was a standalone bill. The Senate recognized it as deeply unpopular. They could have taken it up a month ago.
Right.
They could have taken it up, and they opted not to, and instead put it here. And I think for all us, we didn't know this vote was happening today until
Right.
late last night.
Well, that's what people get frustrated in Congress. It's not transparent.
Yeah.
And they
Frustrated
know
from
that
Steve.
this will pass in a Ukraine bill because
Yeah.
people want, and Ukraine desperately needs that aid. I mean, we don't want Putin to march into Ukraine, and Taiwan needs the aid. But that doesn't mean that you stick in a TikTok ban and don't give people the chance to express themselves. So the only option right now is to express yourselves on this platform, which can go viral, where people get informed and they talk about why it matters.
Yes, absolutely. We are so grateful you came
Thank
out.
you.
We know today is a very busy day.
I'm gonna go back and vote. I'll be
gonna-
voting no on the TikTok ban, and look forward to being in touch with everyone.
Can I ask, Rep Kana, am I allowed to take a photo with you?
I'd love to.
All right, awesome. Thank you. Yeah, that would be wonderful.
Do you want one with the capital in
Oh,
the background?
yeah, that would be great. I don't know.
There it is.
Thank you so much for coming out to speak to so many people that are relying on this. I really appreciate
You know,
it.
Cheryl said you wanted for the video we did on Am I Still Alive? Was,
Yes, but I can hand it off. Here, will you take this from
Yes.
me?
maybe she could take it. You could stick that. That'd be great. Sarah May, can you send her the video we did?
Yes, I'll text you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Sarah, I'm down here all the time. I advocate for small businesses, so I would love to come see you guys again.
Yeah, come by our office. We're in Cannon. But yeah, so nice meeting you. Thank you.
Thank
for
you.
inviting me.
And if there's anyone else you want us to talk to, we're going to be here until at least 6.
Amazing. Okay, well, nice to meet you.
Thank you.
So RD, Congress just figured out a way to accelerate a controversial bill that could lead to a ban on the popular app. The bill is heading into uncharted territory. The House passed the bill today, that could force the sale of the ultra-popular video app TikTok within a year and face having it banned from the U.S. app stores. Not necessarily a fan of political, but here we go. House just passed a bill today, Saturday, just a couple hours ago, that could force the sale of ultra-popular video app TikTok within a year and face having it banned from the U.S. App stores. The TikTok bill, which, by the way, this is a First Amendment situation. They'd be able to do this, they'll be able to do more. It's an overreach, which the House had overwhelmingly passed in the previous version last month. By the way, they just snuck this in. They snuck it in last night, and this bill that they're passing, that it is a package of aid and national security bill to support Ukraine, of course, Israel, and Taiwan. Think of AIPAC, controls the fucking government right now. The whole idea of potentially banning a global powerhouse app for its connection to China is surrounded by uncertainty from the political ramifications. The legal challenge is the question of how a forced sale could happen. It also raises a slate of new questions for Washington. What's next in the Senate? After today's House vote, the scent of aid bills, including TikTok provision, heads to the Senate, where it is expected to pass, since it is considered priority legislation for Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer. The Senate previously sat on it early. The House passed the TikTok bill in mid-March, letting it stall in the Senate Commerce Committee. This version, however, was updated based on the negotiations with key senators, including Senate Commerce Chair Mary Cantwell, Democrat Washington D.C., to help it hold up in the Congress. It extends the amount of time TikTok parent company ByteDance has to find a buyer to a year instead of 6 months, appeasing some of the constitutional concerns of the Senate. One of the potential holdups is Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky. He has opposed the TikTok bill from the start, as well as a large aid package could filibuster it. The force that forced Schumer to invoke cloture, is C-L-O-T-U-R-E, requiring 60 votes to stop debate on the bill and move it to a roll call vote. Of course, Biden's for it too. What's the problem with the TikTok exactly? The bill supporters, both Congress and the White House, say TikTok's immense popularity and its owners tied to China, which China doesn't actually own it. I guess it had something to do with the analytics, that's about it. Are serious national security concerns. They don't want us talking. That's what it comes down to. TikTok CEO Su Chow told Congress in January that the company has not been asked to share data with the Chinese government and never would if it was asked to do so. The Chinese embassy has pushed back on the TikTok bill. It has sent diplomats to lobby congressional staff to downplay the national security concerns and argued, among other things, that the ban of TikTok would harm U.S. investors who have an ownership stake in ByteDance. There's a lot of people, creators. There's a lot of creators, a lot of people who make money on it. Plus, there's a lot of people that has helped them to communicate with other people. A lot of people have personally gained a lot of positive things through TikTok. Now, admittedly, there's a lot of craziness too, but so what? That's life. It's always going to be that. But the opportunity for us to communicate and express our opinion only comes through certain apps like TikTok or Twitter or X, whatever the fuck it is now. This is serious business. And by the way, it's going to the Senate in the next 48 hours. If they pass the bill, then the time for First Amendment and free speech would be short, to say the least. And then this right here, this is Congress Gov. No TikTok on government device acts. See, they don't want us to have free speech. So I think you guys should take this seriously. I think you guys should, if you can, call your congressmen, your senators right now. Actually, your senators right now. Because this is bad news. This is bad news. Of course, it's something they don't want to do anyways, right? Because, right, the war that they're leading us into and the giant eugenics program, they're going to put a lot of pain and suffering for us. So the only thing I can say is Congress is planning a total ban of TikTok. Speak up now before government strips 170 million Americans their constitutional right to free expression. This will damage millions of businesses and destroy the livelihoods of countless creators across the country and deny artists an audience. So let Congress know that TikTok means what it means to you, and let them and tell them to vote no. Well, it's past that, but we still have time to talk to the Senate. I just think you should know this. You should take it seriously. In this soul trap matrix and this fucking loose farm, all they want, if you haven't figured this out yet, is put paint on you to produce the luge.